How are you today?
We're fine, sir. How about you?
Thank you. I'm fine too. Please remain stand for the prayer. Everybody, in the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Okay, let's check our attendance for today. Who is absent for today?
None, sir.
Very good. No one is absent today. Okay. Before we proceed to our topic, I have here the classroom rules that you need to follow. Okay, please everybody read.
Before we proceed to our lesson, I have here the classroom rules that you need to follow.
Respect.
Remember, A. Empathy. S. Sincerity. P. Patience. E. Equity. C. Comprehension. T. Truthfulness.
Okay. Can I expect that from your class?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now, do you still remember our lesson last meeting?
Yes, sir.
Miss Morales?
We discussed about the story of Alibaba and 40 pigs creature.
Great. Now, can you tell me what was the story all about, Miss Elua?
Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. It's a folk tale from the 1001 Nights. It was added to the collection in the 18th century by its French translator Antoine Gauguin, who heard it from Syrian storyteller Hannah Dale.
Okay, excellent. Before we start our discussion, let us read first our objectives.
At the end of this lesson,
The students are expected to A. Match the terms in column A with its definition in column B. B. Watch the story An Apibal by an Chico. C. Share some opinions regarding the story. D. Create personal ending of the story An Apibal by Anton Chico. And The last.
A. Write true if a statement is true and write false if a statement is false.
Okay, so this time, we're going to discuss another story. We're asked to easily comprehend the story. Let us define some unfamiliar words in the story. Okay, for this time, I will divide you into two groups. Each group will be given a chart for this activity. What are you going to do is match the terms in column A with its definition in column B. Okay, representative number 1. This company.
Sir.
Sir,
Representative number 2.
Sir.
Okay, its definition in column B. Okay, you may now proceed to the front. Okay, check if your answer is correct. Number 1, governess. A woman who cares for a surprise, a child especially in a private household. Correct. Stout. Very dark, full-bodied ale with a distinctive malty flavor that is typically brewed with a malted roasted barley. Okay, correct. Number 3, brooch. An ornament that is held by a pin or clasp is for an ordinary setting. Okay, check. Barbarous, extremely violent and cruel. Okay, check. Upheaval, the action or instant of upheaving especially of part of the earth's crust. Okay, very good. Representative number 1 got the perfect score. Very good. I guess all of you are ready for a new lesson for this morning. That's the end of my part. This time, teacher Lisbeth Kagumay will do the discussion proper.
Good morning, ma'am.
I am here in front of you to continue the discussion of your teacher ang band started. By the way, I am Lisbeth Salas Kagumay, your teacher, English 10. Okay, now let's watch the story of entitled Anak Ibaw by Anton Chico. Watch and listen attentively.
Mashenka Pauletsky, a young girl who had only just finished her studies at a boarding school, returning from a walk to the house of the Kuchkins, with whom she was living as a governess, found the household in a terrible turmoil. Mihailo, the porter who opened the door to her, was excited and red as a crab. Loud voices were heard from upstairs. Madame Kushkin is in a fit, most likely, or else she has quarreled with her husband, thought Mashenka. In the hall and in the corridor she met maid servants. One of them was crying. Then Mashenka saw, running out of her room, the master of the house himself, Nikolai Sergei, a little man with a flabby face and a bald head. Though he was an adult, he was red in the face and twitching all over. He passed the governess without noticing her, and throwing up his arms, exclaimed, "Oh, how terrible it is! How tactless! How stupid! How barbarous!" Mashenka went into her room, and then, for the first time in her life, it was her lot to experience in all its acuteness the feeling that is so familiar to persons in dependent positions. We eat the bread of the rich and powerful and cannot speak their minds. There was a search going on in her room. The lady of the house, Fedosia Vasilyevna, a stout, broad-shouldered, uncouth woman with thick blue eyebrows, a faintly perceptible moustache, and red hands, who exactly like a plain, illiterate cook in face and manners, was standing without her cap on at the table, putting back into Mashenka's work bag balls of wool, scraps of materials, and bits of papers. Evidently, the governess' arrival took her by surprise, since on looking around and seeing the girl's pale and astonished face, she was a little taken aback and muttered, "Pardon, I upset it accidentally, my sleeve caught in it." And saying something more, Madame Kushkin rustled her long skirts and went out. Mashenka looked around her room with wondering eyes and, unable to understand it, now knowing what to think, shrugged her shoulders and turned cold with dismay. What had Fedosia Vasilyevna been looking for in her work bag? If she really had, as she said, caught her sleeve in it and upset everything, why had Nikolai Sergei dashed out of her room so excited and red in the face? Why was one drawer of the table pulled out a little way? The money box, in which the governess put away then 10 kopeck pieces and old stamps, was open. They had opened it, but did not know how to shut it, though they had scratched the lock all over. The whatnot with her books on it, the things on the table, the bed, all bore fresh traces of a search. Her linen basket too. The linen had been carefully folded, but it was not in the same order as Mashenka had left it when she went out. So the search had been thorough, most thorough. But what was it for? Why? What had happened? Mashenka remembered the excited porter, the general turmoil which was still going on. The weeping servant girl, had it not all some connection with the search that had just been made in her room? Was she not mixed up in something dreadful? Mashenka turned pale and feeling cold all over, and sank onto her linen basket. A maidservant came into the room. "Lisa, you don't know why they have been run-mugging in my room?" the governess asked her. "Mistress has lost a brooch worth 2,000, said Lisa. "Yes, but why have they been run-mugging in my room?" "They have been searching everyone, miss. They have searched all my things too. They stripped us all naked and searched us. God knows, miss, I never went near her toilet table, let alone touching the brooch. I shall say the same at the police station. But why have they been run-mugging here?" The governor still wondered. "A brooch has been stolen, I tell you. The mistress has been run-mugging in everything with her own hands. She even searched Mihailo, the porter herself. It's a perfect disgrace." Nikolai Sergei simply looks on and cackles like a hen. "But you have no need to tremble like that, miss. They found nothing here. You have nothing to be afraid of it. You didn't take the brooch." "But Lisa, it's vile, it's insulting," said Mashenka, breathless with indignation. "It's so mean, so low. What right had she to suspect me and turn run-mag in my things?" "You are living with strangers, miss," sighed Lisa. "Though you are a young girl, still you are, as it were, a servant. It's not like living with your papa and mama." Mashenka threw herself on the bed and sobbed bitterly. Never in her life had she been subjected to such an outrage. Never had she been so deeply insulted. She, well-educated, refined, the daughter of a teacher, was suspected of theft. She had been searched like a street walker. She could not imagine a greater insult, and to this feeling of resentment was added an oppressive dread of what would come next. All sorts of absurd ideas came into her mind. If they could suspect her of theft, then they might arrest her, strip her naked and search her, then lead her through the street with an escort of soldiers, cast her into a cold, dark cell with mice and wood lice, exactly like the dungeon in which Princess Tarakonova was imprisoned. Who would stand up for her? Her parents lived far away in the provinces. They had not the money to come here. In the capital, she was as solitary as in a desert, without friends, or they could do what they like with her. I will go to all the courts and all the lawyers, Mashenka thought, trembling. I will explain to them. I will take an oath. They will believe that I will not be a thief. Mashenka remembered that under the sheets in her basket she had some sweetmeats which, following the habits of her school days, she had put in her pocket at dinner and carried off to her room. She felt all over and was ashamed at the thought that her little secret was known to the lady of the house. All this terror, shame, resentment brought on an attack of palpitation of the heart, which set up a throwing in her temples, in her heart, and deep down in her stomach. Dinner is ready, the servant summoned Mashenka. Shall I go or not? Mashenka brushed her hair, wiped her face with a wet towel, and went into the dining room. There they had already begun dinner. At one end of the table sat Fedosia Vasilyevna with a stupid, solemn, serious face. At the other end, Nikolai Sergei. At the sides there were the visitors and the children. The dishes were handed by two footmen in swallowtails and white gloves. Everyone knew that there was an upset in the house, that Madame Kushkin was in trouble, and everyone was silent. Nothing was heard but the sound of munching and the rattle of spoons on the plates. The lady of the house herself was the first to speak. "What is the third course?" she asked the footman in a very injured voice. "I ordered that, Fenya," Nikolai Sergei hastened to observe. "I wanted some fish." If you don't like it, don't let them serve it. I just ordered it." Fedosia Vasilyevna did not like dishes that she had not ordered herself, and now her eyes filled with tears. "Come, don't let us agitate ourselves, Mamiko," her household doctor observed in a honeyed voice, just touching her arm with a smile as honeyed. "We are nervous enough as it is. Let us forget the broche. Health is worth more than 2,000 rubles." "It's not the 2,000 I regret," answered the lady, and a bigger tear rolled down her cheek. "It's the fact itself that revolts me. I cannot put up with the thief in my house. I don't regret it. I regret nothing, but to steal from me is such ingratitude. That's how they repay me for my kindness." They all looked into their plates, but Mashenka fancied after the lady's words that everyone was looking at her. A lump rose in her throat. She began crying and put her handkerchief to her lips. "Pardon," she muttered. "I can't help it. My head aches. I'll go away." And she got up from the table, scraping her chair awkwardly, and went out quickly, still more overcome with confusion. "It's beyond everything," said Nikolai Sergei, frowning. "What need was there to search her room? How out of a place it was." "I don't say she took the broche," said Fedosia Vasilyevna, "but can you answer for her?
Okay, based on the video you have watched, answer this follow-up question. Very good. Question number 2. Who are the main characters of the story? Yes, Miss Tia. The characters are Marichka, Nowitzki, Emilio, and Madame Pushkin and Nikolai. Very good. So, question number 3. Where is the setting of the story? Mom. Yes, Miss Maripy.
House.
Very good. So, question number 4. What was the climax of the story? Yes, please.
Mom, the climax of the story is when Nikolai's search tells the truth to Mashinka that he is the one who scared the sick brooch.
Very good. So, question number 5. If you are at the position of Mashinka, would you want to stay at the house?
Ma'am,
Yes, please.
no.
Why?
Because I don't want to be a victim anymore.
Thank you. Oh. This time, let's discuss further the story of Anne of Evil. Anne of Evil by Anton Chekhov. The writer describes the feeling and situation that Mashinka supported in the house where she lived with someone stole the brooch of Madame Pushkin. Mashinka returned home when she finished her class, but in the house where she lived was convulsed and all were in exhausted search of Madame's brooch. Mashinka notices that he was looked around her stuff and she felt upset, disappointment and offended because she was not a thief. Meanwhile, she was in her room all alone, thinking it was a good idea leave the house or not. They called her for it, even though she knew that it was a very bad idea because she felt frustrated. She went for it. During the meal, she felt worse as a result. She went back to her room and she started packing. Nikolai, the husband of Madame, said to her, "Don't go," and told her a confession that he was who stole the brooch, but he warned not to tell anyone and also said sorry to her even though he said that she decided to leave the house. The story is developed from the point of view of Mashinka. Additionally, it develops chronologically in less than a day. The author describes Mashinka as the main actor, who is a young girl. The other actors are the owners of the house, Madame Pushkin or Pidusha Vasselyevna, and her husband, Nikolai Sergets, who describes them as horrible people inside and out, as detailed in paragraph 4. Nikolai, a little man with a flabby face and a bald head, though he was not old. He was red in the face and twitching all over. And Fidusha, a stout, broad-shouldered, uncouth woman with thick black eyebrows, a faintly perceptible mustache, who do not have any kind of respect for the people who are not at the same level economically of them, treating them in a derogatory way. Other actors are Mihailo, who is the porter, Lisa, who is the maid servant. Chekhov used descriptive and formal languages like he used in the paragraph 5. Oh, how horrible it is! How stupid! How barbarous! Abominable! The other one to criticize the high class. How he shows us throughout his writing that the upper class treats so bad any person who is not in the same social class. To place an example is to place almost all the writing, but the writer using the point of view of Mashinka when she was taking with Lisa in the paragraph 17. It's vile, it's insulting, it's so mean, so low. I state that there is a way to face a problem. And if it is true that we can confront and react in different ways, but the real situation here is that no one can disrespect others because they feel they have a better economic position or are better than others. How big is the confrontation? All the human has achieved more without hurting everyone around you. For example, Madami could have waited for Mashinka and first asked her if she had seen the brooch that is not there. For example, Madami could have waited for Mashinka and first asked her if she had seen the brooch and if they could check together her room to be sure that is not there. If I was Mashinka, surely I would have gone too, but before leaving, I would have clarified that they were rude. The things are not handled in that way. If they wanted to look in my room, they had to wait for me to arrive. Insulted other people could not get the brooch. Okay, I guess all of you have understood the whole story entitled An Afiba. Be an altar. This time, group yourselves into two. This will be the group 1 and this will be the group 2. What you are going to do is to create your own ending of the story, An Afiba. After that, each group must choose one representative to present your output. Am I clear, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Here's the criteria on how you will be rated. Content, 20 points. Originality, 20 points. Cooperation and teamwork, 10 points. A total of 50 points. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
You may start now. Alright, let's have the presentation of Group 1. Okay, suppose that Group 1 have already presented their works. Okay, very good. Now, let's proceed the Group 2. Very good, excellent. What a great work. Let's clap our hands, everybody, for a job well done. Thank you for participating. This time, get 1/4 sheet of paper. You are having a short quiz, which is the true or false. Write a true if a statement is true, and write a false if a statement is false. Question number 1. Nikolai is a typical man of the house and who stole the brooch. Okay. Question number 2. Mashinka is proud, young, sensitive, and poor governance. Are you done, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Question number 3. Is Mashinka stole the brooch? Question number 4. Mihailo, the porter who opened the door to her, was excited and read as a crowd. The last question. Question number 5. Lisa, a stout, broad-shouldered, and tall woman with thick black eyebrows, a faintly perceptible mustache, and red hands. And that's all my quiz for today. Okay, Rina, kindly collect all the papers and pass it in front. Thank you. And for your assignment, read in advance about the story entitled Biag Nilang Ang.
That's all for today. I hope that you learned something from us. Again, my name is Teacher Janay Aramban.
And I'm your teacher, Lisbeth Salas Kabumay. Goodbye and thank you.